Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the show is the promoter of Hex Fight Series, Jacob Watts. He's here to promote Hex Fight Series 28, November 18th at Festival Hall in Melbourne. It's going to be a cracker of a show. Luciano versus Mikalev. And of course, Sean Gauci taking on Paul Loga, both title fights. It's going to be a cracker of a card. Lots of local talent, lots of fights that mean a lot, and will set up the landscape to come. The good thing about Jacob Watts, he answers all the questions, his way, but he does not shy away from any question asked, and there has been a little bit of controversy, perhaps on the whole Matt Vaile, Joseph Luciano situation. And if you want to know more about that, go listen to the Joseph Luciano podcast I've done. We go into that there. And Jacob explains why they went with Jono Mikalev and they didn't ask Matt Vaile, and all those questions that you have about that. Do stick around because Jacob answers them. We also do a new thing. We have a bit of a mailbag. We're Australian MMA _ on Instagram. You can hit up, ask questions, and I'll pass them on and ask them to Jacob, and we do that. And so he answers all of those, and it's the state of the lightweights, the light heavyweights, why they did this and that, and it's good. It's a really good chat. And then of course we chat Hex Fight Series 28 and their new pay-per-view provider BeIN Sports, which I think is huge in Europe and stuff for football and whatnot. So it's great to have them supporting Australian MMA. So guys, without further ado, let's get straight into it. The promoter of Hex Fight Series, Jacob Watts. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show, the one and only head of Hex, Jacob Watts. Welcome.
Mitchie, thanks for having me, brother.
Now, first of all, mate, you excited? New venue, Festival Hall, Hex Fight Series 28, November 18th. Are you a bit scared because you're getting out from Melbourne Pavilion?
Not scared, excited, a little bit nervous, which is a good thing. It's a massive step up for us. We're basically doubling our attendance, and it's such a different kind of vibe in there. But not scared. We've prepared everything that we need to prepare, and I'm just super excited to showcase another step in Hex's growth.
Now, main event, we've got Joey Luciano taking on Jono Mikalev for the Hex welterweight title. The question everyone wants to know: why wasn't it Joseph Luciano versus Matt Vaile?
Look, obviously, when at the last event, after the last show when Jono had beaten Jack James, Jack James is an absolute animal. Once he'd beaten him, we kind of said, look, Jono, we want to get you into the title picture. We're not sure who against. He's been putting on great performances. He's been loyal to the show, and he's good to have on. So he was kind of already one half of that, and then I guess it was just that fight fell through, and at the time it was Joey that kind of works better for us. So not anything against Matt Vaile. He's a former champ of the promotion, and he's a great fighter, and he's definitely someone that we'd love to have potentially fight the winner of this fight. So I just always got time to have Matt on the show, but it just didn't work out for this one, unfortunately.
Is that the goal though, to have Matt Vaile fight the winner?
It's one of the goals, yeah. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but that's what we've spoken about. We want to have Matt fight the winner. So
now another one. It's really split everyone down the middle. You've pulled off something miraculous, especially with the mainstream, and you've got AFL legend Brendan Fevola fighting a fan. First of all, how does a fight like this come about, and what are your thoughts on some of the critiques that Fevola's treating it a bit more like a circus, and it's taking up a valuable spot that could go to a younger fighter?
Look, I'll start with the critiques first. I understand from the outside looking in what it looks like, but this fight is only going to bring more mainstream eyes to the sport, and that's the goal for us. The goal is not to have Fev on and take the piss. The goal is we want to bring mainstream eyes to the sport. We want to get more viewers, not just for us, but for MMA in general. We want to have more people watching the show that don't necessarily watch it, so we can continue to grow the sport and remove that stigma, because that there's still that stigma of, it's a violent, bloody cage sport and all that shit. So this is only going to help further that goal of getting rid of that stigma and growing the sport. So I understand why people think that looking from the outside in, but I can assure you, Fev's taking this seriously. That's just the personality he is. He takes the piss out of everything. He jumped in the Yarra after he kicked the footy in the longest kick competition. He just takes the piss, but he's been training. He's been training hard, and it's going to be a fun fight. So it's only going to do good things for the sport.
Well, so what's the fight going to look like? Is it commission signed off? Are they just going to have comically large headgear and gloves? Like, what does this fight look like?
Yeah, the commission has to sign off on any fights, but it's basically going to be under amateur rules. So they'll have 8-ounce gloves, they'll have shin guards, but no headgear. There'll be head kicks, there'll be punches to the head and all that. So it'll be a fight, man. It'll be a proper fight. You
reckon like Fevola's going to try and knock Tony out?
Yeah, well, I was at the Fox FM radio station, which is a channel down here in Melbourne. I was there this morning, and Fev was showing me his front kick, and mate, that he probably could front kick Stefan Struve in the face. That's how he can get it up there. So yeah, he's both guys are taking it seriously. Like Tony told me when he actually bought tickets to the event to enter the competition, he actually joined an MMA gym. So, he's just in anticipation of winning. So, it's got one person in the gym training, and I'm sure this fight will get more people in the gym training trying to be like that.
Is there any bit of you that worries that, Fevola could either A, make a mockery out of this, knock a middle-aged man out cold, or Fevola could get knocked out cold? Like, is there any bit of this that actually worries you that it could backfire?
It doesn't worry me, but that's part of the sport. People get knocked out.
Does the commission have to check over the ticket winner? Like, did he have to do a medical or something?
Yeah, he's had to do everything. So fully apply. The board down here we've got the strictest board in Australia, which is a good thing. They do multiple tests, applications. They have to be signed off by a licensed matchmaker, and they're pretty strict with everything. So both these guys have passed all their requirements that the board's requested of them. So they're both fit and ready to go. Okay,
well, final question on this then. I want your honest opinion. How does that fight go?
I've got no idea, to be honest. I've spent some time. Obviously, I've spent time watching Fev train, and then over the last what's it been 4 days, I've spent a couple of nights down watching Tony train as well. So I think it'll just be a fun fight. I have really no idea what's going to happen.
We move on over to a new thing that I tried, a mailbag. I just threw up, ask the head of Hex, Jacob Watts, a question, and mate, I have never had so much response. So get ready. These are not even me stumping you questions. these are everyone else coming after you.
These are definitely just questions that you've written, and you're 100%. You're throwing off. You're like, this person asked this.
This question comes in from Matt. It says, thoughts on the light heavyweight division in Australia and New Zealand MMA, and are there plans to try revitalising it?
Yeah, there's definitely a plan there to revitalise it. There's a certain guy over in New Zealand that we'd love to have fight on the show who fights at light heavyweight. But it's just a bit of a thin division at the moment. Heavyweight and light heavyweight, it's a little bit thin for competition. But we want to have belts on someone in every division. So it's definitely something that we're strategically working towards. We had a light heavyweight fight on our last card, and I'd expect that we'll have one in March.
And this question comes in from Tamati. Would they, as in Hex, consider doing K1 fights in the cage as well, since you've done grappling matches before? Of course, we saw Soteropoulos, Van Heerden in there. Is K1 on the cards?
100%. I think like K1, maybe a Muay Thai bout, something like that. Some form of kickboxing is definitely something we want to explore next year. And once again, it's just bringing different fan bases to the sport. Obviously, kickboxing fans will probably be fans of MMA anyway, but they might not be. So we just want to expose as many different fan bases to the sport as we can. And who doesn't love seeing people stand up and try and knock each other out?
And this question has been asked by a lot of people over the last six to 8 months. And this one comes in from Jason. It says, will Hex do shows in other states or will they just stay in Melbourne? And there's some other questions here that I won't put through, just comments, but there has at times people complained about there being a quote unquote Melbourne bias. So I kind of want your response to both of those.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some pretty big plans for next year. So we're actually going to be making an announcement at the end of this upcoming event next Saturday. So you'll see it if you're at the venue, you hear it. If you're watching the stream, you'll hear it then. And if not, you'll see it probably 10 minutes after on the Australian MMA podcast, because I know you'll be grabbing me straight away. We've got a big announcement for next year. And I don't think that there's a Melbourne bias at all. You know, we're constantly bringing in people from all around Australia. We're bringing in guys from New Zealand. I think there's just a lot of really good, talented fighters in Melbourne. So I think that if people think it's a bias, I think it's just a kind of testament to how good the talent is in Melbourne, that we've got guys that are consistently winning that happen to fight out of the state that we have the shows in.
Well, does it not benefit you, though, to have Melbourne champions more? It's
a good thing for a business side of it, but you know, we want the best guys to be the champions. You know, we've got Abdallah and Cody are both champions or interim champions, and you'd know better than anyone how expensive a flight is from Perth to Melbourne. So it's not about what benefits us. It's about having the best guys at the top of the heap, and I feel like we're really starting to show that we've got the best guys in each division at the top of the heap.
And now this question comes in from Luke Stockman. What weight division are you most excited to crown a new champion for?
I think probably the lightweight, because I think that there's so many exciting matchups there, and obviously we don't have a champ there. So I think that is the number one division that we don't have a champ for at the moment. But you know, there's exciting fights across all the divisions. You know, Luke's a light heavyweight. There's some fun fights at light heavyweight. We don't have a flyweight title. There's some fun fights there. So there's some big things on the horizon.
This question comes in from a young upstart called Damian Brown. Damian Beatdown Brown runs Beatdown Promotions himself. He says, what's the end goal for Hex as a promotion?
The end goal is to be looked back on and people say, wow, they had a lot of guys that came, you know, a lot of world-class athletes that came through them. They've had Izzy Adesanya. I want people to look back and go, wow, some of the best fighters the world's ever seen have come from Hex. That's the goal.
That's fair. Well, that's what the people wanted to know. Couple more from me. You're not getting away with this too much. When doing the show, this festival hall show, you're taking a big leap, of course, stepping away from, I mean, it wasn't safe being at Melbourne Pavilion, but you knew how to get the job done. So now that you're moving to festival hall, in all honesty, what was the hardest, what's been the biggest hurdle preparing for this show?
I think just adapting to a new space. You know, it's a lot bigger. There's a lot of different, you know, the areas are all different. So I think just kind of adapting to a different layout, a different space. But we've put so many months of preparation into each show that we've got our processes, we've got our plans, and it translates pretty easily into fight night.
Do you hear critiques? So in the comments, in interviews, in podcasts, do you hear when people make critiques? Like hypothetically, when the Brendan Fevola one got announced, right? Do you guys hear that stuff and do you take it on board?
Yeah, I read all the comments on every post, and I'm one of those guys. I have to always read it. So, I understand, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I'm never going to call anyone out or be rude or anything like that to anyone that has their opinion. We know what we're trying to do with these certain things that we do. And, you know, we might get something wrong every once in a while, but I feel like what we're doing is really benefiting the sport. So, I read everything that everyone's got to say and we take it on board. But at the end of the day, we're doing the things that we think are best for the sport.
And talk to me a little bit about BeIN Sports and what it's like to sign up with them. Like what they're really big in the European market. What does it mean for Australian MMA?
Yeah, well, it's massive because, like you said, they're big overseas, especially like Asia, Middle East, Europe. They've got massive fan bases over there. They've had some of the biggest sports in the world on their platform. They've had the Premier League. They've had basically every soccer organisation. They've got all these different kind of sporting organisations. So it's awesome to be, I guess, their premier MMA organisation that they broadcast on their platform. It's I guess a big tick of approval, and it's just another reason why fighters are going to come and fight on Hex, because they know that they're going to get seen on a big scale. There's a chance that they're going to get signed to the UFC. So it's just another level we're raising that platform for everyone.
Do they say that you have to hit a certain number of pay-per-views sold to continue? Like, do you have any sort of metric of what to expect or your KPIs?
No, there's no requirements from us. They've told us what they are going to hit in terms of streams, and they've committed to us for multiple shows. So there's not much we have to do except just put on good fights.
And will much of the production change?
No, it'll be pretty similar. We're always adapting our production and trying to tweak little things to make it a better experience for everyone watching at home. So we'll keep making those small adaptations, but no changes from no big changes from the last show.
And talking to Hex Fight Series 28, November 18th, Festival Hall in Melbourne, what is the fight that you're looking forward to the most?
I think it has to be Emrahan and Michael, doesn't it? It's just going to be the whole build up. Like next week, we're going to have to get like the big security guards to come to the weigh-ins, to the press conference. We're going to have to get them all in the cage when they're facing off. I can't remember a time recently where two people have genuinely hated each other at this level. Like, it's obviously on a smaller scale, but it's like a Khabib and Conor thing. Like, they genuinely dislike each other and would confront each other if they saw each other in the street. So just from a build-up wise, I think that's just going to be so exciting. And it's good because we're going to kind of finally get to see where Emrahan's at, how good he really is.
Yeah, because I think people are sleeping on Michael Manu. They don't realize like what he did to Anthony Drillich back in the day, who's now the flyweight champion for another promotion. What Michael did was like he was the real deal type thing, and he kind of went quiet a little bit. And so I feel like this is going to get the attention again. So if he picks up the W, he very much could be next in line. In fact, that's a question for you. Is he next in line? Because I believe that. Did you announce that this could be a number one contenders fight?
Yeah, when we signed the fight and we had the original bantamweight title fight, we said it would be, I guess, a number one contenders match, but we might have to bust out the black and white stripes and do a triple threat match or something. Yeah,
because, do guys like that get frustrated? Because obviously Cody Haddon, who was the interim champion, was supposed to be taking on Sean Gauci, but now obviously Cody kind of jumps the queue again. Did you have to tell Michael Manu and Emrahan Hekamuglu that you might not be getting the belt after this?
Look, not necessarily. There's a lot of different things that can change, and it could be like Sean could get a win and he could get signed, or Paul could win and then it changes the whole landscape, or someone could get injured, or Cody could not be ready, or Michael. There's so many different moving parts that we've just got to get through the show and then reassess and see what happens. I know that no matter what, we're going to put on an exciting fight. So.
And to highlight that, you mentioned the Sean Gauci fight. Of course, everyone was looking forward to the Cody Haddon fight. Two guys at the top of their game. Paul Loga has had some real ups and downs throughout his career, but looks to have really sort of bounced back, answered the call, might have even made the call to get this fight. Can you talk how this Paul Loga got introduced into the Sean Gauci bantamweight title fight?
Yeah, well, speaking of Damian Beatdown Brown, I got a message about 30 seconds after his fight got called off saying, hey, is like, what's the go with your bantamweight title fight? So I'm so excited to have Paul on. He's an absolute animal. Like if anyone's going to beat Sean, it'll be Paul. He like doesn't give a shit. He's just a brawler. He's a technical brawler. If you look at the people he's lost to recently, he's only lost to the top of the top. So he's a really high caliber athlete. He's got huge power for a bantamweight. So I'm really excited for that fight. I think that it's still going to be a great contest, and these guys are going to have a war.
And to round this all out, as we get closer to November 18th, Hex Fight Series 28, what are you most excited for? Not just a fight, but the event in general. Is it finally getting on this streaming platform? Is it the festival hall show? Is it finally getting Luciano out there? Is it what is the most exciting moment that you're looking forward to?
I think the most exciting thing is just showcasing all the work we've put in over the last 3 months to get this venue, to get this show where it is, for the fights that we've got. I think it's so exciting for everyone to finally see. I've been telling people every day, like the people I see every day, they're probably so sick of hearing about it, because it's all I talk about is how big this show is going to be, how exciting it's going to be. So I think finally getting to showcase the next step in the growth of Hex, I think that's the most exciting thing for us. Well,
Jacob Watts, shot caller of Hex Fight Series. Looking forward to it. November 18th, Festival Hall. They sign up now. This is for the pay-per-view stuff. Now, do they sign up to BeIN Sports? Like, how does this work now?
No, so there's no registration or anything needed. Like no subscription or anything like that. You can click the link in our bio. We've got a link for Oz, a link for NZ. Click the link there, and you can pre-purchase the stream. You'll get 30 days completely free of their platform. There's no enter your credit card and then we'll charge you after 30 days. It's completely free. And then you'll get the fight as well. So link in our bio, it's got an Oz link and NZ link. And all you've got to do is pre-purchase it. Otherwise you can purchase it on the night.
And is there a link code that I can potentially give to someone for listening to this podcast?
We can do a free code for you, Mitchie. You're a good bloke.
Yes. All right. Well, that's what I want. I want you to, if you're listening, wherever you are, I want you to jump on where this interview is on the YouTube page on Australian MMA and just comment something, anything. I want to win. I'll find your details. I'll put you in the draw and I'll give you a free pay-per-view.
We love it. Thanks a lot for having me on, Mitch, as always.
I love it, mate. Take it easy.